And until young people take ownership of this political system and remake it in their own image, we're not going to see progress on all those issues that we care about.
A couple of leading candidates to be your next senator spent time in San Marcos just before Election Day.
With just a few weeks left in the school year, students and teachers in 3 schools found out they won't be able to come back next fall.
There was another violent attack in the square last month. Thanks to Texas State, now you'll see more police.
Mostly the roads that I drive on are decently well kept.
Not every driver in San Marcos feels the same way, but the city has a plan in motion. Hi, and welcome to this edition of Bobcat Update. I'm Gracie Fabella.
And I'm Caden Besson. Ordinarily, voter turnout for primary elections is low, but this year that wasn't the case, especially among young voters.
Reporter Mia Salazar spoke with students who are passionate about one statewide race.
You won't see James Tallarico out here, but his student supporters are. They set up this table to share information and keep his campaign visible while on campus. Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico was originally supposed to speak on campus Monday, February 23rd, but the same day his rally was abruptly moved to the mark with little explanation. Even so, multiple student organizers have been chosen by Tallarico's team to promote his campaign on the quad in the hopes of increasing voter turnout for college students during the primaries.
I believe in what he is working for, and I think that we could have a more loving political environment in Texas, and I think he's pushing for that.
Excuse me? Have you voted in this election yet for the primaries?
Like for what?
This is the primary, so this is the election that's determining who's going to be running in November.
If elected in November, Tallarico will be the youngest U.S. senator in American history and is hoping with his campaign to see young people get more involved in politics.
And until young people take ownership of this political system and remake it in their own image, we're not going to see progress on all those issues that we care about.
Shortly after Tallarico's appearance at the mark, his opponent Jasmine Crockett was allowed on campus Tuesday, February 24th, 2026, to discuss her campaign with students. She brought along other candidates to speak with the audience about women's rights and younger voter power.
Campaigns come around and they always wonder whether or not the young people will come out and vote. I'm here to tell you that y'all are showing up.
For the Texas State Newsroom, I'm Mia Salazar.
The race in the Republican primary was even closer than the Democrat race. The senior senator from Texas, John Cornyn, won 43% of Republican votes Tuesday, according to the Texas Secretary of State's office. His main challenger, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, won 40%. For the moment, they're set for a 3-month runoff with the election set for the end of May. That might end sooner, though. President Trump said he plans to endorse one candidate. Trump said he expects the other to drop out of the race. The worry among Republicans is that 3 more months of negative campaigning would hurt them in the November election. Tuesday's primary election in Texas was unique in a couple of ways. First, 4.5 million Texans voted in the primary, according to the Secretary of State's office. That's about 1 in 4 registered voters, and it was a record for a primary election. Second, a lot more Democrats than Republicans voted in the primary. It's the first time that happened since 2020. Over the last few elections, Republicans have outpaced Democrats by a 2-to-1 margin. This time, about 100,000 more Democrats voted in the primary.
There were hundreds of election precincts around Hays County. One of those is right here on campus, on the 3rd floor of LBJSC. Natalie Munoz and I got over there to talk with some students about voting. Texas State University is opening their campuses as polling sites. The university's San Marcos location as well as Round Rock will be open to the public as a voting location. Texas State University held early voting on campus starting February 17th through the 27th. Today for Election Day, the university is opening their doors once again for the public. The polling location in the center of their San Marcos campus allows access for Bobcats to come cast their ballots from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're in the LBJ Student Center at Texas State University, where students and community alike are casting their votes for this year's primary election.
I'm thankful that Texas State allows me to be able to come on campus. I don't have a lot of time out of work and when I'm at home. So by allowing me to come on campus at LBJ and letting me vote, it makes me feel prideful about being able to vote and believing for what I stand for.
the university, as well as organizations on campus, had been advertising voting registration as well as the campus's polling location.
I know for me personally, it was so much easier to go up to LBJ when I'm already on campus and spending my day here rather than, okay, I have to go home, I have to go drive to this place, finding which place is closest to me, things like that.
However, some students were left unaware of the on-campus polling site.
Honestly, I didn't know that that was an option. If I had known, I honestly should probably do that. I feel like I should be voting. So I'm grateful that we have so many people on campus trying to get students to register to vote because it's such an easy thing to overlook.
Bobcats, along with the rest of the community, can come out to the LBJ Center, located at 109 Student Center Drive in San Marcos, to cast their primary votes.
I think as college students, we're often overlooked, and yet at the same time, we're praised for being like the generation that's going to create the next change. And so I think this is your opportunity to decide who's going to be your next policy, who's going to be your next policy makers, who's going to be deciding all these things, especially for things that will impact us when we're older, buying a house, paying taxes, things like that.
This is Graciela Fabella. Back to you.
You may have noticed a bigger police presence out on the square over the weekend now. That is assuming that you've been out there.
Yeah, I actually did notice it. Both the university and the city of San Marcos are helping with this. It comes after some scary incidents in the entertainment district. Natalie Munoz joins us live with a closer look. Natalie?
The scariest incident was Halloween weekend, the night of Saturday, November 1st. One person was killed and other two were hurt in a shooting on Hopkins Street near Kissing Alley. San Marcos police posted multiple times on social media overnight with updates on the shooting. A couple of weeks later, San Marcos police arrested 24-year-old Patrick Dave Anderson, but they're still looking for other suspects. That shooting played a big role in a new program to put more officers on the street. The University Police Department set aside $150,000 to pay for more San Marcos police officers on weekends. Gracie and I got out on the square to check it out.
The San Marcos and Texas State University Police Department have partnered to increase police presence at the square. The city has allocated $150,000 to add 4 additional officers to the bar district during peak hours. This implementation comes after a string of shootings that occurred Halloween weekend that ended with 1 person dead and multiple injured.
I wasn't here personally when the recent incident took place, but I mean, the fact that 2 specific incidents have took place within the last year does make it a little scarier than it used to be in my mind.
Since the events of Halloween weekend, many businesses here on the square have added safety implementations of their own.
I think everybody's doing really well. I know us here at the Mark, we were one of the first to start implementing the wand. So where we are wanding everybody to, for weapons and stuff like that. Normally, I know a lot of bars that kind of just like do like a waistband check or something, but we check the ladies' purses too to make sure that there's no weapons or contraband coming into the venue. I know we were kind of like the front runners on that. I have noticed that a lot more of the businesses are doing it, which is really good, and I'm confident that everyone out here is doing the best they can to ensure that their business is safe.
Some examples: we now use white lights and black lights to be able to check purses or pockets or something like that. It also helps us verify the integrity of some IDs using the black lights. Those things that previously I might not have been as aware of. They also hold clinics to be able to make sure that our bartenders and our door staff can effectively check the IDs of anyone coming into the bar.
We found that the reaction to the implementation is seemingly positive. However, people became apprehensive to criticize it once cameras were turned on.
I don't really have necessarily any criticisms. They're just doing what they can at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're just doing their job.
You know what I'm saying? That still won't happen. They're not going to be able to do anything about it until something happens. Like,
good job. You're doing a great job. Y'all are amazing. We love you.
Fuck 12.
Yeah, I think everybody's doing a great job so far. And we've gotten better, especially after the accidents. And again, it's unfortunate those happen. That kind of kicked our ass into gear. But everyone's doing very well.
Since Halloween weekend, the square has had no gun-related incidents. However, Sunday morning on March 1st at 4:20 a.m., there was an aggravated assault involving a knife leaving 1 person in critical condition. As of now, the increased police presence is set to end at the beginning of June.
Hundreds of people showed up for a memorial service on the University of Texas campus last week. They were there to honor the 3 people who were killed on West 6th Street, including a UT student and one from Texas Tech. Students held candles and university musicians played consoling music. The student government president remembered the student who was killed, joined by members of her family. A week ago Saturday, a 57-year-old gunman opened fire at Buford's, a bar on 6th Street in Austin. He shot 18 people with a handgun and rifle, killing 3 before police killed the gunman. Friday, Buford's reopened. Dozens of patrons trickled in after the bar opened its doors at 6 p.m. It's now surrounded with the memorials to the 3 people who were killed. That's all I have, Gracie. Back to you.
Thanks, Natalie. Now, driving through San Marcos, you may have noticed the potholes and narrow, claustrophobic roads. What you might not notice is the city's plan to fix these issues. Let's ride along with reporter Hayden Eiler as he drives us through the plan and how the community is responding.
For over a year now, the city of San Marcos has been working on their new plan to improve the quality of traffic. Focusing on resurfacing and repaving, the city hopes to improve the quality of its streets and sidewalks by the year 2030. In the fiscal year 2025, the city has already completed 15 miles of restoration from Sesame Drive to the Dunbar neighborhood. With record levels of enrollment being reported each year, it's more important than ever that the streets of the city are in the best shape possible. In 2024, the city of San Marcos worked with Texas State University in order to conduct a study. They looked at how to better improve transit systems for students and community members alike. In order to keep up with the rising student population, these improvements for streets and sidewalks have been planned to be completed over the next 5 years. We spoke with the student to see what they had to say.
But I think that mostly the roads that I drive on are decently well kept, I'd say. Not necessarily. I mean, I see construction all the time, so I guess I would assume there's a plan, but not specifically aware now. A lot of roads that I drive on towards school have been under construction, and they look better and they're wider now.
The Streets and Sidewalks Division of San Marcos is in charge of this maintenance, and they have been conducting road scans of the city's entire network since 2009. They do this to identify any potential failings using a special vehicle using a laser road imaging system. For any other information, you can find it on sanmarcostexas.gov. For Bobcat Update, I'm Hayden Eiler.
Kaden, did you know some Texas State students own their own businesses?
Yeah, I did actually, and they have a chance to showcase their work right here on campus. Reporter Lillian Nichols takes us on a tour of the Bobcat Bazaar.
The Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, also known as the CIE, organizes the Bobcat Bazaar Market twice a month, where only student businesses and vendors showcase and sell their products on the LBJ Center Mall. Regina Bautista, manager of Bobcat Bazaar and Student Made Campus, shares how the Bobcat Bazaar helped her grow from being a vendor to finding a bigger role that allows her to help vendors more intimately.
I actually, a year ago, almost to the day, it was February 13th, and I signed up, and I was over there in that spot, and I was selling my own crocheted items. And I was talking to the manager then, and I was talking to him about the CIE in general, and he told me about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so cool. Then once fall started, the semester, they actually offered me the Bobcat Bazaar manager role, and I took it on as well.
The CIE welcomes all interested students to join the Bobcat Bazaar Market for free and promote their businesses on a larger scale. Tables and tents are also provided. McKenna, who runs Baby's Closet, showcases the variety and range of student businesses featured at the market.
I have a lot of family out in the Philippines, and they actually sell like their own handmade Coach bags and like different designer bags. And I just thought, oh, I have easy access to all of these bags, and everyone's going viral on TikTok trying to find these bags, so might as well just start selling them on campus.
Like Regina, some other vendors eventually joined the CIE or student-made team, such as Joel Davis, who created Jet's 3D prints.
I'm given an opportunity to sell to fellow students, and then I can just pack up and go home. And connected to that, student-made allows for more off-campus events beyond the bazaar. I've been able to we did a Saturday stroll, so the Bobcat Day on campus last Saturday, which was amazing. Events downtown. So it's kind of the bridging of both is really nice. It's a really good chance to just get my products out to people.
There are only a few weeks left in the school year, but some students just found out they'll be at a different school next year.
And as you might imagine, not everybody is happy about it. School board members in the district northeast of San Antonio just voted to make the change. We'll show you why.
We're kind of hardwired to enjoy things like this. And I think that the apps and the services that are built really do try to exploit this.
Half of all men under 50 have a gambling app on their phones. Most lose more than they win.
Bobcat baseball had a very big week, including hosting the Texas Longhorns. Hunter Mancuso is on deck with sports.
And later, there's a group on campus working to make you move to their music.
San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter's mission is to care for, protect, and find quality homes for abandoned and neglected animals. Approximately 6.5 million animals enter a shelter, and only 3 million of those animals are adopted each year. More than half of those animals are left in the shelter without a home. Save a life and adopt or foster today. Contact the San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter at 512-805-2650. San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter, protecting and saving the lives of the pets of San Marcos.
Just a month into the second semester, parents are left questioning where their child will be attending school next year. San Antonio School District Judson ISD announced 3 school closures. Reporter Gisela Morones talked with a student and a couple of school board members.
As the hallways feel heavy-hearted in this San Antonio elementary school, students and staff are still showing up amidst the news on last Tuesday's board meeting. This meeting was held only 1 week since announcing Judson Middle School's closure. Jose Macias, a 16-year Judson ISD board member, says his ideas did not align with the rest of the board.
Because I thought that closing 4 schools was too aggressive. I thought, as I said, we were not planned out correctly to really address those issues. I also thought closing Ed France as well as Rolling Meadows didn't make sense too, because both of those campuses were the grades were good. Rolling Meadows was a C campus, Ed France was a B campus, and we're closing campuses that were meeting academic success.
I'm currently standing outside the Rolling Meadows Elementary School, one of the 3 elementary schools scheduled for closure. Judson ISD says each school will save the district around $1.5 million to aid cutting back their $37 million deficit. This closure follows the board's decision made on February 24th, where students and faculty spoke out against the possible closure of the elementary school. Amelia McCann, a freshman at Veterans Memorial High School, is one of the many students affected by the closures.
I'm incredibly disappointed and upset with the decision that was made Tuesday. I kind of wanted to cry because, I made so many friends there, like my childhood best friend. I met her there. I met my current best friend there. Like, a lot of people that I knew now, or know now in my life, were from that school. And so all those teachers, everyone was such a tight community. And so it was like I'm losing a home, kind of.
Rolling Meadows, Ed France, and Park Village are all scheduled to close at the end of this school year. Staff of these affected schools are expected to still be employed by the district. As for students, it is still uncertain what schools they will be attending this fall. I'm Gisela Morones, Texas State News.
Austin will also be shutting down some schools, 10 of them. The Board of Trustees for Austin Independent School District voted late last year to close 8 elementary schools and 2 middle schools. Their budget was $20 million short, so trustees said something had to be done to close the gap.
You probably know somebody who bets online using apps like FanDuel, DraftKings, or Kalshi. A survey by the Siena College Research Institute last year found almost half of men under age 50 had a betting app on their phone. For some users, it's just entertainment. It can be a real problem for others.
Do you or someone that you know sports bet? It's pretty common. We asked a couple people on campus to see what their thoughts were on the subject.
Sports betting has become a very popular activity in recent years. We toured Texas State's campus to get the opinions on this subject from a few people. The first, a true professional, Dr. Matthew Flynn, a professor here at Texas State.
It's addictive. Any type of gambling activity, quote unquote, is going to tap into your psychology. We're kind of hardwired to enjoy things like this. And I think that the apps and the services that are built really do try to exploit this.
Many speculate that it is because of the readily available sports betting apps on cell phones. The American Gaming Association claims that as of 2026, upwards of 96.5% of the sports betting market is now through mobile apps, almost the entire market. We also got the chance to meet with Sparty Laughlin, an active sports bettor, and here's what they said.
Yeah, the tough losses hurt, especially one that you thought you could have had, but you come up short. It's a tough feeling, but you bounce back, and at the end of the day, it's all fun. So.
Also, it only felt right to finish it off with someone who lives and breathes sports betting. We met with Colby Moon outside of Old Main to hear his thoughts.
I think it's the adrenaline rush, man. It's a different sort of feeling. It's like a craving, an addiction.
It has been a really busy spring semester for Bobcat athletics.
Yeah, and a really successful one. A couple of teams won their conference championships and some others had great starts to the season.
Hunter Mancuso is live in the Sports Center with a look at multiple teams. Hunter?
Gracie and Caden, thanks. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and like you said, a couple of championship teams actually. Texas State men's and women's indoor track team both swept the entirety of the Sun Belt Conference postseason. Seniors Melanie Duran of the women and Aiden Hayes of the men's team were both named Field Performers of the Year, respectively. Head coach John Fraser was named both Men and Women's Coach of the Year. This marks the first time in the team's history both men and women's has won in the same year. Texas State baseball is off to a hot start to 2026, sitting 12-4 through their first 16 games. The Bobcats have yet to lose a series, beating the likes of Washington State and Gonzaga, both future Pac-12 opponents. They played a combined total of 34 runs in the 4-game series versus Washington State. Safe to say the offense was firing on all cylinders. Conference play starts this weekend for the Bobcats. They will head into Louisiana Monroe to play the Warhawks in a 3-game series. Bobcat softball starts conference play this week. They hosted Tarleton State over the weekend, but we weren't very good hosts. Gracie Fabella was there.
After a heartbreaking blown lead on Thursday, Texas State softball responded in a big way in a fierce doubleheader against Tarleton and Texas A&M at home. In the opener against Tarleton, Texas State trailed 2-0 going into the 6th and had been quiet offensively. Then the Bobcats exploded. A leadoff walk by Carmen Bass, followed by singles from Harley Vestal and Melania Reeves, gave Texas State the lead. Kate Babella hit a 3-run homer to cap an 8-run inning and give Texas State an 8-2 comeback victory. Vestal says the game was a strong statement as to the strength of this resilient Bobcat team.
We battled out with Tarleton for a while this morning, and I think at the end we kind of started to wake up, and that showed in our A&M game. And just coming back from yesterday, we know that wasn't our game, and today we showed who Texas State softball is.
In Game 2, the Bobcats carried that momentum straight into a matchup with number 15, Texas A&M. After the Aggies took an early lead, Bass and Coleman scored a single apiece, while former Aggie transfer Harley Vestal scored a 2-run double to center. In the next inning, Williams scored an insurance run after hitting a single to right field. In the circle, starter Emma Stroud and reliever Maddie Azua combined to hold A&M to just 1 run, with Azua striking out 2 in the 7th to close out the upset and the doubleheader sweep. Azua says this is a testament to what this team is capable of.
To show that we can beat whoever's in front of us, to not doubt us at all.
The wins push Texas State to a 15-8 overall and give the Bobcats their second win over a top 25 team this season. Next up, they open Sun Belt play at home against ULM, riding the momentum of a statement weekend here in San Marcos. Back to you.
The 2026 season for Texas State basketball has come to an end after both men's and women's teams lost in the first round of the Sun Belt Conference Championship. The women's teams didn't fare so well over the course of this year's campaign, going 11-19 and losing to South Alabama in the tournament. They have since parted ways with longtime head coach Zenere Antoine after 15 years. The men went 19-13, going an astounding 16-1 at home in San Marcos. Unfortunately, Southern Miss got the best of them in the first round of the tournament, winning 77-81. Like you said, a lot going on. I can't wait till we start Pac-12 play in July. That's it for me. Back to you.
Texas State is home to hundreds of student organizations and clubs. Some of them are dedicated to music.
One of those meets every month to showcase their favorite genre. Sebastian Longoria and Jabari Ross have your ticket to the Hip Hop Congress.
Texas State Hip Hop Committee is working to bring hip hop culture to the center of campus life. The student-led organization focuses on celebrating the music, creativity, and community that hip hop represents. Members of the committee organize events that allow students to perform, collaborate, and share their talents with others on campus. Just last weekend, the group hosted a live performance that showcased the student artists and gave the Texas State community a chance to experience a local talent firsthand. The committee is led by President Marcus Evans, who helps coordinate these events and expand opportunities for students involved in hip-hop culture all around the campus. Evans joins us now to talk about the group and what they hope to bring to campus in the future.
My name is Marcus Evans.
What's your role in this organization?
I am the president of Hip Hop Congress. We cultivate community and culture through the power of hip hop.
What are some of the things that y'all do in Hip Hop Congress?
So in Hip Hop Congress, we have weekly meetings every single Wednesday where we discuss various hip hop related topics. This week we're doing Women in Hip Hop because it's Women's History Month, March. We also do monthly shows, or a show for every month of the semester. We just had our first show of the semester, Love Undercover, on February 28th, which was the last Saturday of February. And then the third pillar of our organization is our community service. So this year we're participating in Bobcat Build's Big Day. We've also gone to the Juvenile Center before. We've done collaborations with local businesses, and we've done trash pickup days as well. So
the Hip Hop Committee plans to continue hosting events throughout the semester to highlight student talent and expand its presence on campus. Students interested in performing, collaborating, or learning more about this new student organization are encouraged to get involved. For Texas State News, I'm Jabari Ross.
That's all we have for this edition of Bobcat Update. Thanks for joining us.
Watch this space for more news by students for students. We'll see you soon.